I had a conversation with a friend of mine not too long ago, and as we were just talking, um, I don't even know how we got to this, but it was more like talking about like what is important to you in life? You know, what is on top of your head? You know, if you think about life, what is something that is important to you? And my friend immediately shut out like peace and quiet. It's the first thing. And I'm like, I totally second that. And, you know, I was fascinated because sometimes, you know, you look at somebody's age, and in order for somebody to come up with something like this, I think that is very profound. There must be a backstory, I think, because you must have gone or walked or journeyed through something that is challenging, some kind of hardship, some kind of life-changing experience in order to come to the conclusion that what is important, or one of the important things is in life, is to have peace and quiet, or live in peace with everybody, have a quiet life, a simple life, I would say. And in order to come to that realization or revelation, there's certain things that you have to lose in order to understand that this is important. That's my opinion. Second thing was food. And immediately, not just food, good food. This person likes to cook like I do and create food and enjoy the food. And so I felt like, man, this is great. Yeah, I love that. I can totally second that as well. And the third thing would be, he said, was family and friends. And I'm like, wow, so these three things, you know, like peace and quiet, food, good food, and friends and family. I mean, like, I love that. I mean, obviously, there's other things that are important in life, and I'm not saying these are the things, but that's what he said. And those are things that over the last few years that I've processed and come to the conclusion as well that these are very important, maybe even the most important of all things. And so saying all of this, and then he continues like, oh, and I would love to, that was besides the point, but we just kept talking, and I would love to have a place of my own where I can grow stuff and run around naked if I wanted to. Not that I'm running around naked, but just if I wanted to, I can do it, you know, because there's nobody around, and I like that too. And so anyway, so it made me realize what my friend was referring to, and, you know, my revelation or conclusion to this is actually that I'm a hobbit. I love these things. And why am I a Hobbit? Because, you know, if you look at, if I'm a Lord of the Rings fan and the Hobbit fan and everything from Tolkien and what he just created, even the Silmarillion, I love like the whole kind of history book of how everything was created. And I'm so glad that the Rings of Power touched some of those stories, and I see what else will unfold, the series that will come out of that. But anyway, if you look at some of the quotes of Tolkien or even in the Lord of the Rings movies, it talks about the hobbits as a peaceful, you know, the folk that they don't want to be bothered. Just leave me alone. You know, like I live my life. They, you know, they love food. You know, like from 11's to, you know, like first breakfast, second breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper. They like to eat. They like to smoke pipes, grow weed, you know, like their weed for the pipes. They like things that grow. You know, it's actually, there's a quote, I will put it in the podcast, where it says that they all share a common, like they love the soil, and they share a common interest and love for things that grow. And being connected to the earth, being connected to, like, you know, what's going in the ground, tend it and harvest what's coming out and enjoy it, whether it's with pipe weed, you know, you smoke your pipes as you see in the Lord of the Rings, or the food, or ale, they brew ale. So all these kind of things, and then they gather around this, and I think it's when Bilbo turns 111 where he actually shares about this, you know, what's wrong to celebrate a simple life? And that's what they want. That's what all they want. They don't want to be, they're not the big folks. They don't have the great heroes and the big stories, they say, or like people that were involved in making great changes. But they were just simple folks, simple people. And, you know, the more I walk down this journey of life, I feel like this is the life I want to live. It's a simple life. I don't need much. I don't hardly need anything anymore. And I'm content and happy. and not based on things that everybody else tells me I should have or need. What is it that I really need? That we talked about this in the podcast, and can watch an old episode as a refresher. But simplicity is a big thing of just like enjoying simple things and live a simple life, a quiet life, a peaceful life. And therefore, my conclusion is I'm a Hobbit. I want to be a Hobbit. And actually, if you look at it, the whole Lord of the Rings story, I mean, I love Aragorn, and I love Legolas and the elves, and the Kingdom of Man and the heroes, and the Numenorians and long life. But then I think the dwarves too, the true heroes of the book are the hobbits, and not even Frodo, the ring bearer, but actually, if you look at it closer and deeper, the hero of Lord of the Rings is Samwise Gamgee. Samwise is the hero. I mean, this is the guy who goes into Mordor with Frodo. It goes all the way to the end, like such loyalty. I mean, he's willing to die for this because he's committed to this, and he doesn't veer off. He doesn't get distracted. That's what he does. And even the biggest scene of these movies are when Frodo can't go on anymore. I mean, everything is about to just be gone, or like whatever they went on a journey on and tried to change is annihilated. And here's Samwise Gamgee and said, I cannot bury or carry that ring for you, but I can carry you. And he picks him up and, brings him to where he needs to go. I mean, that is the most powerful scene in the trilogy of Lord of the Rings, in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of big scenes in there, but that's the biggest. And so whatever is important to you, think about it. Back to the original content of the podcast when I said, ask my friend what is important in life to him. And it was peace and quiet, food, good food, family and friends. And so just want to share that with you. And it's okay to be a Hobbit. I actually, as a side note, I started to actually walk around barefoot more, and I will try to do that outside as well, because it seems to, I think, be good to you, and it's actually very natural. So with that said, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.